It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
Happy Saturday, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Oil Stream. Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola with you, brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. Celebrate your summer holidays by getting your hands on a delicious Popeye's chicken sandwich, just as juicy in the summer as it is in the middle of hockey season. Tommy, what's up, buddy?
That was a beautiful sell right there.
You like that? That was smooth, right?
Yeah, that was. You integrated summer vacation and the juiciness of a Popeye's chicken sandwich, and actually their nugs are just as delicious and juicy, and that was very, very smooth. I would say that cell was on fuego, my friend, much like the weather
That's
has
really
been.
good.
Yeah.
That's really good because I'm in Vancouver right now, and I spent about 2 hours this morning in front of the mirror just saying that over and over and over again because I really wanted to nail it to kick off this Saturday midsummer episode of the Oil Stream. So boom.
There's no off
knocked
days.
it out of the park. No.
What off season, pal?
There's
what
no off days. None.
Not here.
At all whatsoever. Not with us. And now with Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. So make sure you go and visit them if you're going to head to the next Elks home game. They're selling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these Popeye's chicken sandwiches at the Elks games. And watch for that against the BC Lions next week. Not going to be an easy one, but we'll see how that thing goes down.
There are no easy games for the Elks this season. This team is in absolute turmoil. It's hard to watch, and I didn't think it would go this badly, but my goodness, how that offense is just – I just want to add one thing. That offense is just putrid. And that was a great catch by Dylan Mitchell, but it's nice to see a throw into the breadbasket when a receiver's in stride. And I know it doesn't happen very often for this Elks team, but every now and then you get that little blip, and you're like, hey, look, they can do it. Just not very frequently.
Yeah, there's I don't know exactly what has to happen there, what's going to happen there, but
well, I can tell you right now, when a former player is telling you that the OC's nickname is Steve Macadon't, there's a problem. Because he ain't Macadoing anything right now.
He's not. Chris Jones is locked into him. So anyway, this ain't the Elk Stream. This is the Oil Stream.
Sorry, I just
there's lots
wanted to get my piece in.
Yeah, I could do an hour on the Elks right now.
I can't have my release on a AM radio station that happens to be all sports anymore for the time being. But we'll get to that later on in the summer.
It's tough. That's a tough spot to be in. But oh well. All right, let's get into it. The Oil Stream. Hey, Boston Pizza. Let's dive into your Boston Pizza appetizer. It'll be Gager and I on Tuesday at the Beaumont Boston Pizza. You can join us out there. It should be a fun little episode. It's always fun to see Gager out in the wild. He joined us at Boston Pizza for an episode a few. Probably about a year ago now, I would think. Probably last summer, maybe. That was when we were in Terwilliger, right? That was
That's right. Right in his sweet spot, too.
Yeah, that was good.
Big thank you to Gager. Big thank you to Gager for filling in for me. I'm leaving for holidays tomorrow, but we're still going to be banging out episodes.
Oh, yeah, we'll still have episodes, especially with the arbitration stuff looming here with McLeod and stuff like that. But, I guess some legitimate news on the Edmonton Oilers front this week. By the way, if you're checking out Boston Pizza, I was with some guys last night here in Vancouver at just we're on Suits' back deck, and he was barbecuing for us. And the guys were talking about the summer fishbowl margaritas at Boston Pizza. Like, it came up. I was like, we've had those. They're delicious.
They're amazing.
Yeah. So they're on the summer menu at Boston Pizza. So if you go there, check that out. Hit up the patio. Of course, they are all open. Tommy, a guy who was viewed by many as like a secret weapon for the Edmonton Oilers, has decided to step away. What's the latest here?
Yeah, Jeremy Coupal, video coach for the Oilers, walking away from the team. And, it was reported that it is on good terms. And I spoke with Jeremy briefly the day it was announced, and he says no plans yet, and he'll figure it out. And that's where he's at. I mean, secret weapon is a nice way to describe him. I would say that he is very focused, very sharp when it comes to attention to detail. We witnessed that on the ice numerous times over the past couple of seasons. His record in coaches' challenges was absolutely pristine. I think there was one in the playoffs or Woodcroft just tried one to see. And I don't think that was Jeremy saying, hey, go for it.
Yeah.
I think, Jeremy probably told you this isn't going to work. And Woodcroft just tried something just because he needed to turn the tide. But this is a good man. He is probably looking for, and I don't want to speak for him, but a lot of video coaches, their goal is to become an assistant coach or elevate themselves in the organization. And it has happened in the past. Former Oilers video coach Miles Fee is now an assistant coach with the Florida Panthers. So there's a quick example of where that does come to fruition. So I don't know where Jeremy's off to. It doesn't sound like, from what he told me, he knows exactly just yet, but he's that good, a sparkling resume, and I'm sure we're going to see him with another team. Whether or not it's in the NHL, Dusty, I'm not sure, but the first thing that came to mind is maybe he goes to the college route and maybe he gets an assistant coach's job there, or maybe there's a program that views him as a head coach somewhere, and that type of offer does pop up from time to time.
You know who else started as a video coach?
I will take a guess, but I'll just – no, you know what? Just go and say it because I feel like I know where you're going with this.
Jay Woodcroft. Jay Woodcroft started as a video coach back in – I've got it right here. Hired as a video coach for the Red Wings in 2005. So, I mean, he put in, obviously moved up to an assistant on Todd McLeod's staff, then went and was a head coach, but started as a video coach himself, right? So the path is there for some of these guys.
Well, I was going to say, I'm like, please don't say Pierre Maguire, but that doesn't matter. I promise you, not for a moment did Pierre Maguire's name cross my mind in that situation. That would not have been. If you ever get a chance to talk to Rob Brown, he's got some amazing stories from his time in Pittsburgh and Hartford and Chicago.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it.
That'd have been right in Maguire's wheelhouse there, right? Like, yeah.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
I golfed with Rob Brown last year in the Oilers media event. I wish I would have known that at the time because that would have been that would have been pretty good, actually. There's been some pretty good stories there. So I guess the Oilers have to find a replacement. Tommy, you haven't heard anything on who that might be? Like, was there an assistant video coach working with them?
There was. Yeah, and, Noah Siegel did get the bump up last year where he was, video coordinator, assistant video coach, kind of Jeremy's right-hand man. So he might just get elevated to Jeremy's old role. We shall see, but especially when you have a good rapport with the coaching staff and you know them and you're their guide, that's generally how that progression works. And obviously, you alluded to Jay Woodcroft. Him and Todd McLellan were tight when they were on the Detroit Red Wings coaching staff, and that is kind of how it works in this realm right now. So, Miles Fee lasted, I think, 3 or 4 coaches, and then finally he worked hard and he worked well with Todd McLellan, but McLellan and Woodcroft, had a direction they wanted to go, and Miles had his own direction that he thought his career trajectory was supposed to go on, and it's worked out well for Miles. So just to give an example of the video coaches and how that kind of works. So I would assume Noah Siegel gets the bump up, but we'll see what happens. Dusty.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, he came up from Baco, right?
Yeah.
Was it just last year?
Just last year. And Jeremy, of course, had a hand in bringing him on. And Jay, being a very astute former video coach, has a lot of say and looks for certain things in his video. Like, yeah, exactly. So, there's a lot of those tie-ins, and that's something that can't be overlooked. You know what?
I actually, Noah was in our group with Rob Brown at the golf tournament.
There you go.
I played with him last year. He was just sort of getting going. Pretty good golfer, actually.
Yep. Nice guy.
It was the two of us and Dustin Schwartz who
did Schwartzy break any clubs?
Schwartzy hit. Well, no, he was angry a few times, but he hits the ball a freaking ton.
He shoots the puck hard too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. When you're angry all the time, I think you have that momentum.
Built like a brick shithouse. Yeah.
Oh, it was a fun day.
Don't get Schwartzy mad.
All right, so there you go. That's kind of the latest and where they're at with the video coach. Outside of that, it's kind of quiet. I mean, Ryan McLeod. We've seen, what was it, Vince Dunn avoided arbitration, kind of got a deal done. I think yesterday. Do you see email from the Oilers at some point saying Ryan McLeod has avoided arbitration, or does this actually get there? Do you think, Tommy?
Not from what I was told, and
you think it's
again, I'll say the expectation is for the way this will roll out is it's supposed to. They anticipate it going to arbitration or right before arbitration. If they can avoid that, I think that would be great, but it's tactic on both sides. The Oilers hamstrung by minimal cap space, McLeod trying to maximize, and nothing new from what I was told. The process is supposed to play out and go long. If we do get that email saying that they've come to an agreement, maybe I would assume if that happens, then it's Ryan McLeod saying, you know what, I don't want to go through that crap again.
Get it done.
Yeah, I need to be ready. I don't want that on my mind at the start of training camp. But that's a him thing. And I don't know where he's at personally. But again, I was told the expectation is for this whole process to be drawn out to the full length, if you will.
Do you think there's much improvement still coming with Ryan McLeod? Or is the Ryan McLeod we see now pretty much Ryan McLeod for the next 6 years?
I would say that where there could be improvement, or we might see it, is consistency. Now that he's a couple years in as a full-fledged NHLer, I know injuries have gotten in the way, and early on in his career, he wasn't always in every single game, and he was up and down a little bit, like it tends to happen with young players. But I think the consistency is getting there, and that's what we could see improve. But the potential on the ice, his capabilities and abilities, I don't know if there's going to be a ton of improvement, quote unquote, but the results with that consistency might get better just because, he feels comfortable. Now he knows he's a full-time NHLer, and maybe he does take that shot instead of look for the pass off. And maybe he does make that extra move and does it confidently and doesn't get stripped at the blue line for a turnover that goes back the other way for an odd man rush. Those types of things are the type of improvement I could see, quote unquote, happening. And I think, that falls under the consistency category. So the answer is yes, but that's how I could see it.
Yeah. The problem for McLeod, like if he, takes a nice deal and then hopes he kind of cashes in on the next one, is that the opportunity is just so limited, right? Like you're not going to be in the top 6 on this team ever. So, your job is a third line center. That's who you're going to be. That's the production that people are going to expect. So it's tough because you're not really going to elevate your offensive output from the third line center role. Outside of you'll have a good year sometimes.
Yeah.
The other times you'll have so year, but it's not like all of a sudden he's going to get an upgraded opportunity and put up 60 points somehow, right? So, yeah.
I'll use this example as a guy who is kind of like what Ryan McLeod is developing into. This is a long time ago, though, so I know I'm dating myself, but Todd Marchant was kind of that guy. He had a really strong season, I think in like 01-02, where I think he led the Oilers in goals. It was after Waite had left and Guerin had left, and I think Anson Carter was still kicking around at that point, but And Ryan Smith, I think, got banged up that one year. He got banged up a couple of years in the early 2000s. But Todd Marchant had like a really strong year, and he signed a deal with Columbus, and he could never really be that go-to offensive guy again. And I suppose Ryan McLeod could mirror that type of career, or he could look at Edmonton and be like, I'm happy being the third line center. I like my role. I'll get my 30, 40, maybe 50 points one year, and maybe I'll win a Stanley Cup, and I'll be on a damn good team. I'll make a few $1 million a season, and my living is good. Depends on the guy, but he's a pretty happy-go-lucky guy from all of my interactions with him over the years.
Here's the Marchant year you were talking about, because in 95-96, he scored 19, 38 points. And then the years after that, 14, 33, 14, 35, 14, 36, 17, 40, 13, 39, 12, 34. Right, like if McLeod just gave you those numbers, I mean, that's what you get from third line center. But then in 2002, 2003, in 77 games, only Ryan Smith had more points.
There you go.
Marchant went 20-40 for 60 points, and then off to Columbus the following year, where he never, in fact, he only had more than 30 points twice in a season after that. So it kind of worked his way up, had that chance to cash, had the season, but then probably didn't get as much opportunity in any of those other places as he did that one year in Edmonton.
Yeah. Did win the cup with the Ducks, though, so good for him. Nice guy from when I met him. But, you know, you only get that one, maybe two, if you're lucky, moments in your career to cash in. And he did at a time when the money was still different in the National Hockey League. And he went for it. And I can't blame a guy. And it kind of it hurt the fan base, I think, because there was a guy rejecting the Oilers and they thought of him as a true Oiler. And I think he believed he was too, but it's the business of the game. But who knows what happens with Ryan McLeod? This is a different time. We're talking about a couple decades later.
But production level, he's on that scale.
Same type of player, fast. I would say Ryan McLeod has much better hands and more skill than Todd Marchand, but you find ways to create offense, and you get those opportunities. You take advantage. So that's just the guy I think is a comparable.
All right, let's dive into Inside the Numbers for Coolbet Canada. By the way, matching Coolbet T-shirts today for Tommy and I. That's nice to see. Look, it's a good look.
Nothing left from the perm, too. Chantal did some magic.
It's all gone now, hey?
It's gone. Oh, feels
back
so
to
good.
Normal, Tommy Gazzola. That's great. Okay, so just for Inside the Numbers with Coolbet today, like we mentioned, they have the NHL futures up for Stanley Cup. That's it there right now. But if you want to go, or if you want to bet golf, Canadian Football League, Major League Baseball, they got you covered over at Coolbet. Stay cool, bet responsibly. I just quickly on the Pacific Division. I guess if we're playing an Inside the Numbers game here, I guess I'd say over or under 4.5 Pacific teams in the postseason next year, Tommy. And that kind of just generates a conversation about, is this division better or worse than it was last year?
I'll say under 4.5 playoff teams from the Pacific. I think Calgary, but you say one thing about the Flames going into the season and they do the exact opposite. I really do think Calgary's in a world of hurt and will be soon with what Craig Conroy has basically walked into or accepted as his new project, if you will. So I think that there's going to be trouble there unless they get amazing goaltending from Jacob Markstrom. I think the Oilers will be right there again, obviously. I know that we've talked about them being slightly weaker right now. I think that's something that could change. They could improve. Vegas, I think, will be rock solid again. And then I look at the Canucks, and I don't see a ton of improvement in the Canucks. It's kind of like growth from within, but San Jose still rebuilding. Anaheim, who knows? And LA will give teams fits. But I think the Kings made themselves weaker by giving up everything they did for PLD. Like, I really like Velarde and what he's putting together. If he's got a better attitude than Dubois, and they gave up a couple other pieces.
Yeah, they must have really liked Dubois because I thought they paid a pretty hefty price considering the Jets were in no-win territory there, right?
Exactly. So, but I do think LA is the third strongest team in the division still. I think it'll be a similar season to what we just witnessed. Will Vegas be as good as they were last year?
Well, how does Seattle factor into this thing?
Yeah.
I haven't really got to the Kraken.
Seattle, good point. Yeah, the Kraken maybe slight improvement again. Like, they'll be kind of where they were. Don't take them lightly night to night. I'll throw this at you, Dusty. Do you think with the Kraken and the success that team had last year, teams will take them more seriously every single night, and maybe they have a bit of a target on their back? I remember Devin Dubnyk saying something to me and a group of us, his first or second year back in Edmonton. It was the first year of the new arena, and this was kind of just a side conversation, and someone said to him, well, now do you game plan for the Oilers? And he goes, yeah, they're actually good.
Yeah.
And he's like, I couldn't say that when they were here or when I was here. So maybe the Kraken will have a bit of a target on their back and people won't go so lightly on them. I don't know if teams went lightly on them. I don't think they did, but there is that kind of mental adjustment you make when you face certain teams.
Yeah, I think I'd probably be on the under 4.5 here as well. I mean, Anaheim and San Jose aren't in a spot to even surprise us, I don't think. I think there'd be a slight chance that Vancouver could surprise us just because of the individual talent they do have with some of those guys. Like, they have some really good players. It's just a matter of putting it all together. And this is not Edmonton guy taking a shot at Calgary. I just have no idea what the Flames are going to be this year. And then, I think the other teams, the Kings are interesting between the pipes. Not that they've been super strong between the pipes, but whether they're running Phoenix Copley and Cam Talbot as the goalies now, right? So a different look. Good
for Talbs. Very happy for him.
Nice spot for him to land.
Yeah,
I think. But so
I
we'll
think
see what happens there.
Todd wanted him back, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess the connection there, that does make sense. All right, that's going to do it for another episode of the Oil Stream. Tommy, safe travels to the United States of America, buddy. God.
Yeah, I'm traveling on my EU passport. I had to send in my Canadian one. So my mom's like, let me know if I need to send your birth certificate. I'm like,
you have two passports?
Yeah, so my parents are both, my mom's from Poland. My dad was born a year after my grandparents came from Italy. So I've got an EU one, which my mom was adamant I get. So I was like, well, I should be fine. I think it's okay. So I'm looking forward to just getting out of town for a little bit, Dusty.
Yeah, that'd be good, buddy.
We'll still be hammering these out while I'm down there.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, we'll be, whenever if anything happens, we'll have you covered. And join Gager and I Tuesday night in Beaumont at the Boston Pizza for a live episode of the Oil Stream. Should be fun. Tommy, get us out of here, buddy, and safe travels, bud.
All right. Have a great weekend. Have a great call this weekend in the next game because it's been pretty good in the CFL. And with that being said, have a lovely weekend to all of our viewers and listeners. Like, share, subscribe, smash the thumbs up button. Peace out.